Right, after the last video, which was the tray tidy, I said I'd put in the kickboards. They've arrived now. The old ones have got speakers in. I don't know what material the new ones are made of. I'll do a quick shot of the old ones. I believe they're held in just by one screw, but there's a little groove they have to go into, but I'm not quite sure what happens in the middle. And then we'll examine the new kickboards. Don't know what they're made of yet. Okay. So this flange here is supposed to hold the edge of the kickboard. As you can see, there's a speaker in it. It's all hanging down here. It got damp when a windscreen was leaking. I had a nice man called Dale fix that for me, and it butts up against the main air intake there. So as you can see, there's the one screw holding it in place, and we'll get on with that now. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a big yellow column going up just behind the gear change. That is the main air vent up. Next to it is the orange air vent out. Next to that is a little silver screw, which is the only screw that holds that kickboard in place. I'm going to take it out now and see how easy that whole kickboard comes out. Again, it's a Phillips screw. Out it jolly well pops. We've got a nice little place to keep it there. This then is jammed in place by the tray tidy. Okay, let's see if it'll come out sideways, shall we? Yeah, there we go. There we go, so that's that taken out. Disconnect the speakers now, and there we go. Okay, so now we're just going to take out the driver's side one. I think this is the best camera angle, but I'm going to be scrabbling around the other side. Do you know, this is a lot more difficult to do when the camera is where you want to be. Now, unlike the passenger side, this isn't held in place by too much rubber stuff. There we go, just move that out of the way. Okay, now as you can tell, brakes, throttle assembly, everything's in the way on this one. I'll still disconnect the speaker, and again, bit of brute force and ignorance gets that out. Taking the old one out, you can see it's a bit manky really, hardboard. Speaker still works, so that's probably going to go back in. The rest of it though is going in the bin. We'll find out what the new ones are made of, again from Just Campers. 30 quid I think, or thereabouts. Right, so this one will be driver's side with the hole for the windscreen wash filler, the air vent, and thankfully a little pre-drilled hole that allows us to line that one screw up. This then will be the bit that goes behind the door, and this will go up to the air intake, main air intake channel. That means the side that goes against the bulkhead is quite smooth, and there's sort of a textured finish to the cab side. As you can tell, it's going to be impossible for me to straighten that out. So I'm just going to line the two bits of plastic up. Like that, which is pretty much the best I can do. And squash that down as hard as I can. Make screw hole lines next to where the screw holes are, and that should give me, you won't be able to see the contrast in that, but I can see a line there, a line there, a line there, and a line there, because it's not 100% accurate. We don't have to be 100% accurate. If I draw a cross across there, I get a centre, and that's good enough. As long as the speaker's out of the way, which we know it will be, it won't be fouling anything underneath. And we'll get the other one in about the same sort of place, because nobody's going to be sitting there measuring the distances between the speakers. Couple of things. On the old kick plate you will see that there's a warning for the water pressures. We don't care about that. Somebody has fitted an electric windscreen washer pump. May do an update on that later on, because it's not been done very well. And the other thing is fitting the speaker. An easy way to mark the holes is to put the speaker on, get it more or less lined up, well, get it exactly lined up where you want it, and using a gas soldering iron, just make the 4 little marks, and we'll drill them off in a second. You know how a drill works. Okay, so in the process of drilling the holes and putting the speakers back in, I discovered that on the passenger side they're held in with like these little raw screws, raw plugs, and on the driver's side 2 of these little clips. So I nipped down to Halfords, bought a couple more, going to change them all over, and they are called U-type nuts for self-tapping screws. That's a U-type nut. Okay, we've got both speakers nicely screwed into the back of the new kick plate. We'll just reconnect the speakers now. This one, of course, is the easy one. And why I made it look so difficult last time, I've no idea. If I pull this back, that gives us plenty of room to slide that in behind the air vent. That up to and behind a little panel here. Because it is so flexible, just pushing it back down pushes it to where it ought to be. Now, obviously, nothing's quite that easy, so I'm going to see why this isn't bedded down quite as we'd like here straight away. Is there a wire in the way? Is there a... Oh, yep, of course, there's the speedo drive again. Not in our way though. This isn't going in somewhere at the back here quite like it should. Oh, hang on. That's gone there. There we go. Just needed a little bit of TLC. Up here I thought I had the speedo cable. It's actually the cold air vent from the front. I've lined it up a bit better now. We should okay, the driver's side. Always slightly more difficult as we've got slightly more things in the way. However, by the look of it, we shouldn't have too much difficulty. Famous last words, eh? We'll tuck that in behind there first. We'll move that out the way. Oh, we forgot to put the speaker on. Of course, it was famous last words. And my specs are over here. Trying to do it in the dark doesn't help. Yeah. There we go. Speaker reconnected. Clips up round there. That does go up there, doesn't it? That comes in round here. We get all these speaker cables going to the back in a minute. That comes in here, goes in there. Speaker bit's in nicely. This is just hopefully gonna we just bend that around there because that's nice and flexible now. And that goes right behind the pipe. That lines up there. Let's get those speaker wires out the way and see if we can line this hole up. Gosh, actually, do you know what? I think that's blinking it. Would you add to believe it? That's just gone on there nicely. I wonder what else is wrong then. These wires, because they were going to move them out the way. Around there. That does seem to go behind the inlet pipe, so really we want a bit more room up here. There we go. We want that to go behind something up there. There's that. That's supposed to go just in there. Kind of looks like, doesn't it? Okay, well those wires are going to be taped out the way, because that is in there pretty much as well as it wants to go, isn't it? I'll get it taped now and tape it to the back of the kick plate. Kick plate's nicely in place. On goes the filler, on goes the washer, bottle top. Job's a good one. Well, okay, very easy to fit, again easier with two. The screw that holds it into the dash can be a bit awkward to fit, as you saw with the first one. I want to say that these little U-clip things, if your screw is the right size, you can of course drill the hole a little bit bigger and put one of these instead, and this will move around a bit. It won't let the kick plate move around too much, because actually I've noticed that the kick plate is held in quite tightly by loads of other things. Like the screw is just purely there as a third party thing. Worth the money? Yes, it's a lot tidier than it was. You can coat it, you can paint it, you can put all sorts of finishes on it to make it that little bit special. But right now, I haven't done that. Well, remember, thanks for watching. The plastered finger says hello, and see you on the next one.